Supervisor Marr.
Thank you. I wanted to say that it's a historic moment in this chambers that we're joined by a woman, an amazing leader all the way from Seoul, Korea, that has an example of courage and a story of breaking silence over generations. She's an example of a growing movement led by women's organizations in Korea and Japan and in this country, in the U.S., for justice and for empathy for hundreds of thousands of girls and women that were kidnapped, coerced into sexual slavery by the Japanese Imperial Army from 1932 to 1945. It's about justice. It's about empathy. I wanted to ask if our honoree can come forward, but also acknowledge that we're joined by Judges Lillian Singh and Judge Julie Tang, who are flanking her. We're also joined by Phyllis Kim from the Korean American Forum, and she'll be translating. The leader that we are here honoring today is Ms. Young-Soo Lee, more commonly and respectfully known as Grandma Lee. Colleagues, this is historic because she's an amazing, courageous person showing perseverance as a survivor of the World War II Japanese Imperial Army's so-called comfort stations. She represents and embodies a fighting spirit of women's movements in the Pacific and in Asia and in this country that are leading the struggle for justice. And she's been leading it for about 20 years since she broke her silence along with other courageous women. Grandma Lee was born in 1928 near Daegu, Korea. She was 15 years old, the age of my daughter as well, my Japanese and Chinese American daughter, Jade. But Grandma Lee was 15 years old when she was lured out of her home in the middle of the night. She was taken to a quote-unquote comfort station for a kamikaze unit in Taiwan, in the Japanese-controlled Taiwan. She returned after the war and lived in silence. She lived in silence until 1992, when she registered with the Korean government as a victim of the Japanese military sexual slavery. Tremendously courageous person. She initially thought what happened to her was an isolated incident, but soon realized so many other women, well over 200,000, were subject to the same horrors that she went through. I think some say the average was 10 to 20 rapes of people per day. That's like 50 to 100 per week. If you think about it per year, just the suffering and the horrors. Since then, Grandma Lee has become a leader and an activist in the movement to demand an official apology and government reparations from the Japanese government. Grandma Lee was one of the 3 survivors that testified before the U.S. Congress, and thank you so much to Congressman Mike Honda as well, and the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Subcommittee on Asia, the Pacific, and the Global Environment in 2007. Grandma Lee embodies courage and determination. She's making numerous trips around the globe, including Japan and to the U.S., to attend events, give talks, and raise public awareness about the so-called comfort women issue, justice for comfort women. I like to say that our Justice for Comfort Women Coalition is growing because of the courage of Grandma Lee and so many others that are here with us today. She's getting around at the age of 87 much more actively than many of us to speak and to raise awareness, to pressure the Japanese government to formally apologize. She lives in Daegu, Korea. My office is working with the Justice for Comfort Women Coalition to arrange for Thursday's press conference at 1. 2 p.m. is a committee meeting of the Public Safety Committee that Supervisors Christensen, Campos, and I sit on. She's also meeting with the mayor later today, I believe. Also, Grace Yu, professor from SF State, has her, and there's a Rape of Nanjing Redress Coalition banquet and many other events that she's attending. On behalf of the Justice for Comfort Women Coalition, I wanted to ask if those that are in the audience could stand from the Rape of Nanjing Coalition and the Justice for Comfort Women Coalition, just stand in solidarity as we thank Grandma Lee for being here and to give her remarks. Thank you.
President Breed.
네, 여러분 안녕하십니까? 역사의 산증은 이용수입니다.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yong-Soo Lee. I am the living evidence of history.
여러분, 아름다운 샌프란시스코 왔습니다. 저 한을 풀어주세요. 여러분들이 꼭 이 아름다운 샌프란시스코에 손상을 지옥으로 해주세요. 간절히 바랍니다.
I came to this beautiful San Francisco to meet with you, and I want to ask you with my deepest bottom of my heart that please, let me get rid of my sadness in my heart by erecting a memorial in this beautiful city of San Francisco.
여러분, 직구문은 제가 역사에 산 증언이지만은 세계 여성들을 위해서 저는 여성 인권자로서 해결사로서 꼭 나서서 이 문제 해결을 세계 여성들을 위해서 저는 노력하겠습니다.
I came here as the witness of the history, but now I am more than that. I came here as an activist who is trying to resolve the history for the sake of all women's rights of the world. And for the sake of the women around the world, I am determined to resolve this problem.
샌프란시스코 여러분들 존경하고 사랑합니다. 꼭 소녀상을 샌프란시스코에서 꼭 씌워주기를 바랍니다. 부탁드립니다. 고맙습니다.
All of you in San Francisco, I give you my respect and love, and I sincerely ask you to erect a memorial in San Francisco. I am very grateful. Thank you.
꼭 부탁드립니다. 여러분 사랑합니다.
I love you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, and Supervisor Marr, Thank you. So at this time, Supervisor Kim will say a few words.
First of all, I just want to Harmony Lee. I just wanted to say a couple of my own words as well. I grew up, my parents immigrated from Korea to the U.S. in the 1970s, and I grew up in my childhood hearing stories about the occupation, the war, and the story of women and young girls that were taken from their homes to serve as sexual slaves for the Japanese military. These were stories that I grew up hearing from so many women in my family who were fearful that they could have been one of the victims as well. And I just want to thank you so much for what you were doing. The greatest revolutionary act that you can give is not just to survive, but to survive and tell your story. And the experience and the stories are humiliating and so challenging to hear. And I know even more challenging to tell the public and share your experience. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your leadership and courage. It is so important that we not only know our history, but we remember these stories so that they won't happen again. And I think that your contribution to women and girls across the world that are victimized is so incredibly important, and that we cannot rest until we end this type of violence against girls and women. So thank you again. 많이 감사합니다. 죄를 사랑하여.
Thank you, Supervisor Kim.
Judges Singh and Tang, would you join us? Phyllis?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
수고했습니다. 비행기도 월요일도 있어요. I know, I heard.
Okay, thank you to the paparazzi, and we will now turn to the regular business of the Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, can you please go to item